Trevor, toss me an egg.
Okay, here it comes.
Worked when I did it. Welcome to Mythical Kitchen, where dreams become my tiny apartment. Because we are what? Sheltered at home! But just because we're all sheltered at home doesn't mean the entire Mythical Kitchen crew can't teach you a little something about food.
Today, Josh, Trevor, and I are each gonna make something absolutely delicious out of a pantry staple, flour.
If you're following along at home, you can find the time codes right there. Also, you can find each recipe down below in the description.
Okay, let's get to cooking. My neighbor downstairs is gonna start banging on the ceiling with a broomstick in about 10 minutes. I was chopping an apple yesterday, and this guy's just jamming on the ceiling with a broomstick. He's probably cool. All right, so today we're discussing what to do with a sack of flour. So today I'm gonna be making flour tortillas from scratch. All you need, flour, butter, water, a little bit of salt, and then a lot of these. I don't know why I make the motion like a baby asking for milk, but that's where I'm at today. My flour sack is getting light. I'm gonna have to go raid other people's apartments for flour. So we got 2 cups of flour going right in there. And then you're gonna need about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, but just eyeball it. You just want to make sure your tortillas are like a little bit seasoned. And then you're gonna take your butter. We have a whole stick going in there. That's what differentiates tortilla dough from, say, pasta dough, because a lot of pasta doughs are just salt, flour, and water, but the addition of fat is really gonna make it nice and pliable and tender and able to wrap up your burritos. All right, so you're gonna cut your butter into small cubes, and always make sure to push down on the blade. Don't pull up, because I did cut myself once. And what are we not doing today? Bleeding into the food. Traditional doctrine would say to whisk the salt into the flour before you do this. You gotta mash your hands in there until the butter is completely incorporated with the flour. Water should be at about 110 degrees. The way that I estimate water, and this is absolutely true and I've gotten really good at it, it's how much more would this hurt me than a hot tub. Standard hot tub's at 104.25 degrees. So I always like to put my hand in, and if I couldn't sit quite comfortably in that, that's about 110 degrees. So we're gonna take that, and we're gonna add it in, and we're just gonna start folding it around with our hands. You should do this with a fork. I forgot to grab a fork, so we're going hands. It might get a little sticky. You're gonna take it out of your bowl, and then you're gonna go ahead and knead it until it gets slightly elastic. You wanna like really punch it out like that. So you wanna really roll it out and actually physically elongate it. That's gonna get a little bit of that gluten development, so you're gonna get like a nice chewy tortilla. This is the most working out I'm gonna do. Actually, no, I've been working out a lot, so now I'm the creepy shirtless guy just outside on the sidewalk walking around with a kettlebell. And the other day, I was walking by a car and I tried to like see how I was looking in the reflection of the car window, and there was just like an 85-year-old woman sitting in the car staring back at me with absolute horror. I don't know if it was horror or hatred. I just mouthed like, "I'm sorry." It was sad. I wonder what she's up to today. All right, you're gonna keep kneading that dough. You want it to be elastic, but if it gets too sticky, you just add a little bit more flour. Nicole, flour. Thank you, Nicole. Hold on, dude, the microphone fold. Wait, give me a second, sorry. Yeah, okay. So your dough should feel like Pillsbury cinnamon roll dough out of the can if it fell in a bathtub with you, because that's what you were doing, and I don't judge your life. So pinch off a little nubbin of dough, and then you're gonna roll it in your hands, and then just slightly flatten it into a disc. That's gonna make it a little bit easier when you roll it out. So we have our 6 even discs right here. We need to get this covered with plastic wrap. Then that's gonna go in the fridge for about half an hour to set up. Let that butter really tighten up so you can roll it out into a nice, smooth tortilla. All right, so we have our dough that's been rested. They're a little bit more puck-like. You see they're nice and solid now. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna start pinching it out with your hands. Most tortillas are made with a machine called a tortilla press, but I imagine most of you, including me, don't have that. So we're just gonna roll it out. So you're gonna get a little bit of flour onto your work surface and then dust the top of that. And then you're just gonna roll it out with a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, use a wine bottle. If you don't have a wine bottle, use a bottle of Frank's Red Hot Buffalo Sauce, which I swear to God is the single best rolling pin tool in the entire world. So you're just gonna start rolling from the center out, turning your dough a quarter at a time every time you do it. So we're gonna be griddling these in a hot, dry pan. You can also actually cook them in the oven, which is what they do at tortilla factories. You want to be able to stick your fingers under it and like actually see the color of your flesh underneath the tortilla to make sure it's thin enough. All right, so the key to grilling your tortilla, you want it to be really hot and you want it to be on there for a very short amount of time, because the more the tortilla cooks, the more water is leaving the system, which means it's gonna be less pliable and not fold into a burrito very well, but it'll make a great quesadilla. You'll notice that the griddle is smaller than the tortilla. That is less than ideal. I might give this tortilla a little haircut. All right. Moment of truth. Pick this tortilla up. Try and get it as circular as possible when you drop it in the pan because you don't want any folds. And it completely folded. That's fine. Don't put your fingers in the hot griddle. I can do it because I'm a trained professional. It's like the Tiger King, how like you shouldn't stick your hands in the tiger cage, but like he can do it because he's a trained professional. Also, he didn't even sing any of those country songs. They were so good though. Also, I don't think Carol Baskin did kill her husband. I think he's in Costa Rica. Yeah, so give it a nice flip. You want a little bit of browning on it and then flip it. There we go. All right, we got our perfect tortillas. I'm gonna show you guys how to turn this into a delicious and easy breakfast burrito, but first, Nicole is gonna teach you how to take this bag of flour and turn it into fresh pasta. Go, Nicole, go!
Okay, so today we're gonna be making pasta from scratch, which I really enjoy doing. Most of the time I'm very, very lazy, so I like to get the pre-boxed stuff, but today we're gonna do it from scratch. The first thing you do is you're going to get your water boiling. But before that, you have to add a lot of salt to it. The reason why you add salt is because it flavors the whole entire dish. The idea of pasta is that it's kind of like a blank canvas and you can put whatever you want in there. That much salt. You want it to be salty like the ocean. Wrong one. Just so you guys know, I like never cook in this kitchen. My mom cooks in this kitchen. She normally is like, no cooking, this is mine. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Oh, this is my handy dandy little green scoop. And then I'm going to make a little well. I'm just gonna use my hands. The reason why we make a well is to create a fortress to make sure all of the liquids that we're gonna add in here don't spill all over the place and make a really, really big mess. And now we crack our eggs. Josh, can you help me crack an egg?
Yeah, I got you, dude.
Okay, great. Throw that in the well. Thanks, Josh. That was awesome. Not even a speck on the floor. Okay, I'm gonna crack 2 more eggs. I'm also gonna add a glug of olive oil. You can use whatever kind of oil you got. Grapeseed, corn, peanut, maybe not sesame. Just gonna eyeball like a teaspoon of salt. Our pasta water is already salty, so you don't wanna make it too crazy salty. Chopsticks are probably the best tool to use to mix pasta dough because it helps you crack the yolks and then oh no, we have a breach. In the event of a breach, just, build up your fortress. Okay, great. I'm just gonna slowly incorporate in circular motions to ensure that everything gets incorporated evenly. Fantastic. Mix it up. Bloop. My favorite pasta shape is actually, I love rigatoni rigate. The rigate is so the sauce can stay in the little ridges. As you can see, it's a very shaggy dough right now. The eggs and the oil are gonna help hydrate this dough really, really nicely. Don't be alarmed if you're like, oh my gosh, this is too much flour. Trust me, it's not too much flour. You just have to be a little bit patient. You have all the time in the world to knead this, okay? What do people do at this time? What do you guys do? Honestly, all I've been doing is watching old GMM episodes. What was that episode? The one where like Rhett doesn't believe that a country exists. Obviously it exists. Dude, these Italian grandmas must be like super buff. So I'm just gonna keep kneading this dough. It's gonna look like a really beautiful golden yellow. So once it gets to that beautifully hydrated golden yellow color, you're gonna wanna wrap it in plastic and let it rest for about 30 minutes. And the reason why you let it rest is to make sure all of the gluten development kind of like chills and relaxes for a little bit so your pasta doesn't fall apart in the water. So my dough has been resting for about 30 minutes. As you can see, it's a really pretty golden hue. I'm actually gonna take it out of the bag so you guys can see it a little better. You can see that it's very, very soft and hydrated because I can pinch it and it's nice and pliable. Okay, flour, my board. Cut this in half and let that hang out there. And I actually don't have a rolling pin here. Ooh! Grey Goose. There we go. Fantastic. So you can see because we let the gluten chill for a little bit, it's nice and stretchy. Put a little bit of flour on here so it doesn't stick. I'm gonna cut out a rectangle. I'm gonna try to square it off as best as I can. So I'm gonna do a little fold here where I put it inside the center, then I put the other side in the center, and I pinch it like so, and I pinch the back a little bit too, and then I flail out the edges like so. And there you go, got a little farfalle. Isn't that so cute? I made all of my little farfalle, which I found out means butterfly and not bow tie in Italian. Thanks, Ryan, producing from, I don't know, 20 miles away. I'm gonna slowly drop my little butterflies in. I move it around ever so gently. And while that's happening, I'm just gonna melt a little bit of butter. I got it in. I'm gonna wipe my hands on a Mythical kitchen towel. So they're starting to float. That's a good sign. And now we wait a minute. Come with me, come with me. I'm gonna strain it. I'm gonna toss it in this bowl right here. Look at them. They're beautiful little steamy butterflies. And I'm gonna take some of my melted butter, pour that over the top. Make sure to get all of those beautiful milk solids. And there you go, guys. Do you see that? This is actually kind of epic right now. I'm gonna eat some. Ooh, I got the big one. Let me just dip it in some butter. That's so good. Oh my God. It's like soft and like beautiful, but it still has a really nice chew to it. It's like perfectly al dente. And it takes literally like 45 minutes and like a little bit of like elbow grease to make a beautiful dish that literally looks like you got it from a restaurant. So now we're gonna see Trevor make some garlic biscuits. Take it away, Trevor. Alexa, activate Trevor.
Trevor activated.
Okay gamers, today we're gonna be making biscuits with garlic butter. It's a super simple biscuit recipe, but it's so tasty, so delicious, super easy to make. So we're gonna start with 2 cups of flour going into the bowl. And I've got my flour here so that I don't have to get it out of a bag and make a huge mess. Is this almost exactly 2 cups of flour? Am I a genius? Am I a genius? It's possible. That was exactly 2 cups of flour. I'm so good at baking. And then we're gonna go a half a tablespoon of baking soda. You could also use a full tablespoon of baking powder if you don't have baking soda. Fun fact, all baking powder is baking soda mixed with cream of tartar. 1 teaspoon of sugar. I'm gonna go a hefty teaspoon of salt because I like my biscuits salty. And fork that together, just so that all the baking soda, salt, and sugar are mixed throughout the flour. The reason that we're using cold cubed butter is we're gonna add it in and we're gonna mix it by hand until it's got a mealy texture, and the butter, you still want the butter to be in chunks. So when these go in the oven with the butter chunks still in the biscuit, that butter's gonna obviously melt and turn into steam, and it's gonna cause the biscuits to rise, and it's gonna give them a nice flaky buttery texture. You don't want the butter chunks to be too big, because then if they melt in the oven, some of that butter might seep out and you'll lose some of that flakiness. So you want about pea-sized chunks of butter. So I'm gonna use a cup of milk, and I'm gonna get that in the mixing bowl, and I'm gonna use a fork to mix it. You could use your hands if you like messy hands. I don't, generally. It's gonna be really sticky, and you don't have to clean the sides. You just wanna make sure all the flour is off the bottom of the bowl. Hot ziggity, this is looking good. That's my new saying, hot ziggity. It's still really sticky and mushy, but that's okay. That's the texture that you want it to be. You want it to not really come off the fork. I'm gonna line up a sheet pan with parchment and pop these babies in the oven. Okay, so you wanna preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and while that is heating up, I'm going to line a sheet pan with some parchment paper or wax paper or really whatever you have. And then I'm also going to give it a little olive oil grease down just so that the biscuits don't stick. You know you can't have your biscuits sticking. I'm just gonna grab chunks. It's about 2 tablespoons worth. And then you just wanna plop them on in as good of a spherical shape as you can. This recipe makes about 10 to 12 biscuits depending on what size you go with. Recipe super simple. You can just double it, triple it, however many you need. If you've got a whole family of biscuit loving people, make 100 of them. Who cares? It's your life. You do with it what you want. This is the first time I've cooked in weeks and it wasn't Easy Mac. I feel like such a phony sometimes because Josh and Nicole are always cooking these like amazing things, and then I just smear peanut butter between 2 Pop-Tarts and eat 3 boxes of Easy Mac a day. Before we pop these in the oven, I think it's gonna be good to get a little bit of egg wash on them so they get a nice golden brown. Josh, can you throw me an egg?
Look alive, Trevor.
All right, let's get into it. So I'm just gonna crack this in the bowl. That bowl is precariously close to the edge of the counter, but I don't care because I like to live my life on the edge. I'm gonna whip this egg up really quick. So the reason I'm egg washing these is because were I to pop these in the oven right now, they would get browning on them, but they would still remain like this kind of color. I wanna put egg wash on them so they get a nice golden brown texture and have a nice smooth layer of glistening fat. And I don't have a brush, so I'm just gonna egg wash them by hand because these are rustic biscuits and I'm a rustic guy, so I'm gonna do it rustically. Gonna get a little dab around the top. This is also an opportunity for you to reshape the misshapen ones if you so desire, because the biscuit dough won't stick to you now. It's a different kind of messy, and the messy doesn't clash. The two messinesses don't like to messy together, so the messinesses stay messy. And that's cooking. We can go ahead and pop these bad boys in the oven. We're gonna let this bake for about 12 to 13 minutes, based on how golden brown you want your biscuits. Oh, I forgot I dropped that eggshell. All right, so while those biscuits are in the oven, we're gonna get on our garlic butter. I've left a single stick of butter softening, honestly, since I woke up this morning. I'm gonna take a little sill spat and I'm just gonna spread it out and kind of smooth it out in the bowl, get it out of stick shape. And you may be wondering, Trevor, why do you have a microplaner on the counter? And that is the secret ingredient that is going into this garlic butter, a wedge of Romano cheese. If you don't have cheese, that's okay, you don't need it. So I'm gonna add a nice, healthy grating. And when you're making something like garlic butter, I can't stress this enough, just do it by taste. I'm using unsalted butter. You always want to use unsalted butter generally whenever you're baking or cooking something. That way you can control the salt level. And I'm gonna use about a half a teaspoon of salt, I think, to go into start. I'm gonna use about a quarter teaspoon of black pepper, just a little bit of olive oil, get it nice and smooth and spreadable. Because you know, who doesn't love fat on fat? I have minced garlic here, so I'm gonna go about a teaspoon to start. You know, I'm gonna go a little bit extra. I'm just gonna mix that in. Hot ziggity, this is looking good. There it is again. Hot freaking ziggity. Just get a little taste. Oh, that's really good. All right, let's check on these biscuits. Oh, they're so pretty. Oh, they're so beautiful. They're so golden brown. Oh, I can see little pockets of butter. I'm gonna crack it open. Let's see. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so flaky and soft. You can see like the little pocket of butter that was in there, a butter chunk that just melted and steamed. It's so soft and squishy and still warm. And I'm gonna butter one up. Oh, it's still warm. Oh, it's so good. The biscuit dough is so soft. It's so flaky and tender and warm. The garlic butter is so good. You can taste the cheese in there. The dough is like a nice, it's like just got a little bit of richness because of the sugar in it. It's so soft. It's so flaky, so tender, so buttery. All right, let's check in on Josh. Hey Josh, how's that burrito coming?
Oh, Trevor, the burrito is going awesomely, man. Thank you for asking. How's your day? The old silent treatment, huh? To make the actual breakfast burrito, I like to follow a very tried and true format. Some sort of crispy potato, egg, cheese, cured meat. That's my oven beeping. I like to have smaller cubes of potatoes in my breakfast burrito. Even if these are imperfect, again, you are wrapping it all up in a burrito where all your flaws will be hidden, including your personal flaws. Fear of rejection, wrap it in a burrito. And then all we're gonna do, you're gonna take the last of your canola oil. What'll you cook with now? Who knows? A little bit of fresh cracked pepper and then salt. You want a fair amount of salt on this, and then you're just gonna give those a nice toss with your hands. Get those in there, spread them out as evenly as you can, and then you're just gonna throw this in a 425-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes until you see a lot of nice browning. All right, so now we're gonna start building the rest of this breakfast burrito. I'm gonna take 2 strips of bacon, and you're just gonna cut it into strips like that. And so what I do is I take the bacon and I put it in a cold pan. When you heat the pan up, it's gonna start rendering the bacon fat so the pan can be completely dry. And the bacon fat's gonna cook out and we're gonna scramble the eggs in there. All right, so the bacon's rendering in a pan right now. You need to crack some eggs in a bowl. Trevor, toss me an egg.
Okay, here it comes.
Worked when I did it. So we're gonna go probably 2 eggs per burrito. All right, you just wanna whisk up your eggs. You don't need to season with salt because there's gonna be enough salt in the bacon, especially when you're, I like how that was my motion for sauteing it all together. You know, so you see the bacon crisping up nicely, but you don't want it to go too high because you don't wanna burn your bacon before the fat renders out, because that fat's gonna give you some like beautiful cooking oil for your eggs. While that's going on, we're gonna melt the cheese directly onto the eggs and the bacon. I have a microplane that's used for citrus zesting, and it is terrible at grating cheese, but it's all I have, so we're doing it. All right, so the bacon, nice and rendered, perfectly crispy. We're just gonna toss in our eggs, and then you're simply gonna give that a stir, and then I wanna add a fair amount of that cheese right on top. Then we're gonna add our potatoes, and we're gonna start assembling this breakfast burrito. Ooh, wait, no, I have one more thing. This is controversial. Best ingredient in a breakfast burrito. Mayonnaise. Taco Bell. Taco Bell sneaks mayonnaise into like half their ingredients so you don't notice. That spicy jalapeno sauce that everyone loves is literally just like mayonnaise, cheddar cheese, and jalapenos. So all I'm gonna do is take my favorite hot sauce, which right now is Oh Brother Chipotle Habanero, and I'm gonna add a couple dashes to this mayonnaise, and then that's going right on top of the potatoes and the burrito, and I refuse to apologize for it. Now we gotta check on those potatoes, and then we're gonna start assembling this burrito. Pan's getting hot. Tortilla's in the pan. You want your tortilla to be pliable when you roll it. If it's cold, it might be brittle and break. So we're just gonna start to warm this up just a little bit. Tortilla is nice and pliable. We're gonna get a layer of potatoes down. This is how I like to architect my burritos. Then I'm gonna take my mayonnaise sauce and I'm gonna go right on top of the potatoes. And now I'm gonna take some of these eggs. You know what? We're just gonna do it. We're gonna do it and we're gonna figure it out together. You know what? No, there's not enough potatoes in there. I want more potatoes. Now we're perfect. So you're gonna take the sides, pinch them in, and then simply fold the top over. Roll it, tuck it, be gentle. You're gonna mash the fillings together with your hands, and then right into the hot griddle to seal it. Folds are nice and griddled. The rest of the tortilla is still translucent, which is what I really love. And there it is. You're gonna slap it on your cutting board. Key, you gotta let it rest. That's not true, I'm gonna cut it. Nice slice through. Oh yeah, and there is your breakfast burrito. This is awesome. You can pop them in the freezer in some foil and then just let them defrost in the oven. That is fantastic. Oh, if you see, all the mayonnaise is seeped into the potatoes, all the cheese and the bacon is combined with the egg. I also hot sauce every single bite of my breakfast burrito, and I start the day sweating. Oh yeah, give me a second, hold on. First thing is the tortilla. Since there's so much butter in there, it's really tender. It has enough gluten in it to like actually hold the shape and really make for a solid burrito. That's really, wow, I can't talk. All the mayonnaise is lubed up my mouth and it's just sliding the words around. Blah.
Thank you for joining us in the Mythical Kitchen.
Hit us up on Instagram at Mythical Kitchen with hashtag DreamsBecomeFood and let us know in the comments what mythical dishes you want to see us make next.
We'll see you next time.
You can cook up your own feast while wearing the Mythical Kitchen apron, available now at mythical.com.